In January, our middle school group sent 6 students to Krakow, Poland, along with our sister school in England.
We visited Auschwitz I and Birkenau death camps with 2 survivors, Eva Moses Kor and Stan Kalamanowicz.
On the first day of our trip, we visited the Plaza Monument. It is located near the city, which was rare for a concentration camp. There are several statues to respect those who suffered there. When the Nazis were losing the war, they decided to destroy the evidence of the camp.
The ceremony took place at Birkenau. The survivors and/or their families walked down the train tracks of the selection platform. At the end, they lit candles and placed them on the monument.
Each of the smaller monuments were written in languages that might have been spoken in the camps. The following day, our group got to light candles and lay wreaths of our own. Eva Moses Kor and Stan Kalamanowicz took us on a tour of Birkenau. There we went inside a brick barrack and went into the Canada building. We walked the same path as the victims, meaning our group walked through the sterilizing, barber, and shower portions, as well as the registration process.
When the Nazis collected personal items, they collected all pictures. At the end of the building, there are many walls filled with families' pictures. It is only a small amount collected, but the effects are emotional.
Here our group had many privileges due to us touring with survivors. We got to walk the part of the liberation path that was located inside Auschwitz I.
Since we were traveling with Eva Moses Kor, a survivor of the twin experiment, our group got to go inside Block 10. Block 10 is where Dr. Joseph Mengele conducted the multiple tests.
Along with this, there is one block that was recreated into a memorial. Here they show life before, during, and after the Holocaust. In the first room, there are videos projected on the walls surrounding you. The videos consisted of marriages, days at the beach, holidays, and home videos. In the following room, there are clips of Nazi ceremonies, propaganda, and speeches. The contrast between these two were frightening.
We then got to the section that took place during the Holocaust. There were several long hallways and rooms with items collected over the years. The ones that stuck out were the ones filled with shoes, hair, glasses, pots and pans, prosthetics, suitcases, and mugshots.
Towards the end of the tour, there was a room that looked completely blank, but if you look closely at the walls, you see little pencil drawings of things before, during, and after the Holocaust. These pictures were drawn by children from that time. Some pictures were of things they remembered, such as parents or pets. Others were about their lives or things they saw in the camp or liberation.
The last rooms we were in was the room that held the Book of Names. This book held the first and last names of the victims, their first camp, where they died, and how they died, but most said cause of death unknown.
One of the most exciting parts of the tour is that we got to take a picture with Eva Moses Kor.
In the week, we even got an interview with Eva as well as Stan.
So what makes people that way? Are they born that way? I don't think so. I believe that all human beings are born innocent, caring, and we can mold and shape and help them build their character into something wonderful. Or if we do nothing and they grow up in an abusive situation, they can become the next Hitler or the next Nazi, or the next Al-Qaeda leader, or ISIS.
Finally, after we got back from our trip, we reflected on everything we learned and saw.
I'm Andy and I'm 14 years old.
I'm Megan and I'm 14 years old.
I'm Liz and I'm 14 years old.
I learned from Poland that this could never happen again, and if it does, it'll be bad for everyone.
From Eva Moses Kor and Stan Kalamanowicz, I learned that forgiveness is an option in every situation, and that kids are changing the world in the past, and they can continue changing the world if they try. In Poland, it was a learning experience. One of our first days, we went to Birkenau, which is Auschwitz II, and from touring that death camp, I learned that people, you don't think some of the things you saw actually happened because you weren't there, but you learn that people actually suffered, and some of them lived through it, and it gets really emotional for our group and the adults and the whole group, and seeing even Moses Corps forgiving, it helps a lot because it shows that everybody can forgive even in the hardest situations.
Eva and Stan taught me that the younger generations are the ones who will make the change. Touring Auschwitz is a lot different from touring the rest of the camps because it's turned more into a museum. They stored a lot of the things they found from the victims in glass cases so that we can never forget what happened there. We got to tour Block 10 with Eva because she was a survivor of the twin experiments. When you think about where you're standing or where you're walking, it's very frightening to think that 70 years ago, people died there. And Eva taught me that forgiveness is always possible.
Overall, we learned that forgiveness is the seed to peace, and kids can continue changing the world.
But the forgiveness to help the victim. That every victim on the face of this earth deserves to be free from what was done to them. You could help me, you young people, with your camera and your teacher and your bright minds, to have an addendum to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
We dedicate this documentary to Joseph Paczynski. He told us his story about being Robert Hess's barber at Auschwitz.
Nazywam się Józef Paczyński. Mam dopiero 95 lat.
My name is Józef Paczyński and I'm only 95.
Ale inni poinformowali, że broń Boże do sztolni nie wchodzi. Bo sztolnie są zaminowane. Teraz proszę.
The wall was empty. The smoke was coming. The smoke was coming from the chimneys as it used to, and I was working like I used to work. But we could hear a lot of information concerning the movement of the front, and we knew that Kraków was taken by the Russian army, that Kielce was taken by the Russian army, and in October 1944 we were also expecting the Russians to liberate us. In October 1944, all the camps, that is Auschwitz, Birkenau and Monowitz, had 58,000 people, and the Germans started to evacuate people on trains, and we were all the time expecting that the Russians will simply cut their way, that they will stop them, but they did not. And finally, in the night on the 18th and 19th of January 1945, we heard the voice, the words "Alles raus," everybody out, and we were forced to go on foot to the west.
Mr. Paczynski passed away on April 26, 2015 in Krakow, Poland. He was 95 years old.